Right guys, welcome back to another video. This time we're going to be flying. As you can see, I've just finished my CRJ flight that I did in Brisbane, and we're going to now do this flight using the Thai Airways stunning. Whenever I see this, it reminds me of that some blissable advertising. I feel like having a Cadbury bar for some reason. It looks very much like a Cadbury bar chocolate. It's a real stunning livery. I like the Thai Airways livery. That purple gold, two-tone purple and the gold. It's yeah, stunning livery. We're flying on the PMG 777-300, which is a very beautiful and elegant aircraft. Leaving here at the stunning Hong Kong airport, and the wind's going the right way this time. It's coming from the east here, so we're going to depart out over here and then circle around across the city, which is a nice departure, and then I'll leave you guys for the boring part and I'll speed it up and we will see you in Thailand. But for some reason, PMG aircraft, this is what happens sometimes when you start up. So the easy workaround for this little bug is restart your simulator, which doesn't take that long, to be honest. And we will see if it loads. That's what we want. So I have this set up to I might lower the I have this set up to a turnaround thing that I did, but I did it at the wrong time. I saved this turnaround after I had arrived, so I've got all these different warning lights and whatnot, so I'm going to fix it actually. And while I fix that, I'll take you guys on a little journey on how to set your defaults. So what we will do is, in real life, from what I read, it's very rare to have a plane that's cold and dark like this, because these planes fly basically 24/7, but what we will do is we'll set this to cold and dark. I've got a few different random settings here, but I think this is the default, cold and dark. And what I'll do is, because I did this ages ago after I'd done a flight for some silly reason, and I had all your generic like warning lights and whatnot associated with when you're doing a landing, but we will do this from cold and dark. Alright, so we will come over here. Actually, we'll turn on the battery first. So the battery is up here. Turn on the battery. If you want to be a real world pilot, you do all your various checks, but that's not me, so I'm going to go to ground operations, request ground power, which would be plugged in automatically anyway. Select both of these to on, and you just go through here and make sure all of these, like for this, just get all of these various warning lights off. These just stay on. I think the nav lights are on. We'll turn on our logo lights just because we can. We'll do that later on. We'll have these on because these pretty much stay on all the time. And we are going to get this set up for our cold and dark. We're going to set this up for go around, so we will... I might just have to research. Do I have that on before I turn on the APU? I'm guessing I do, but we'll turn on the APU. Wait for that to power up. Or we might be having to do another restart because I'm not too sure why these screens are not powering on. What am I doing that's wrong? I can't remember if this actually just takes this long in real life anyway, I don't know. Oh, I think something's coming alive. Yeah, this is why pilots have these planes in turnaround mode, because that does take a long time for it to start up. So we'll just wait for this to power up a bit more, and then we will set this to a new cold and dark. Well, not cold and dark, we'll set this to another, we'll set this state. What I usually do too is I want to have it so that my jetway is connected. Have it so that, just for visual aspects, I'll just have that all like so. I can't wait till there's like a study wear aircraft like that. I love that A340, and I hope they bring one out soon, because as we know, these aircraft are rapidly departing the real world fleet, and it's quite cool to go into Flight Radar and just click on one of these and go, I want to do that route, but that's, to do these routes, it's going to be more fictional than real, unfortunately. But right, we'll just wait for this to power up a bit more, and we will, I think we clear that. Yeah, that's a good turnaround state, I reckon. So we will state safe, and we'll just and we will hopefully this will set this to this default thing that I've just created. Set this go around as the default. Hopefully this doesn't freeze up the whole computer, but I think from memory it takes this long anyway, so that's okay. Done. Perfect. Sweet. So hopefully when I do the next flight, that's that will set to that. Hopefully that works. Perfect. So we are in the beautiful PMG 777 in Thai Airways livery. And like mentioned, we'll do a nice flight to... I'll change the daytime. I'll change it for like a morning-ish flight so we get the whole daytime. It's going to be a fun flight. We'll depart from runway 7 center, and we'll do this nice departure that takes us out around past Hong Kong there. Get a nice view of the Hong Kong city there, and then once we get to here, it's going to be pretty much boring flying over the ocean, apart from going between these 2 points of China here, and then we come into Vietnam, to Laos, Thailand. But I'll set it up so that we've got a nice view. And yeah, let's get into this, eh? So we will come into this page here, not this one. Come into the electronic flight bag. We'll request our flight. While that's loading, we'll go into the FMC, POS in it. As I did with the CRJ, you can see this is basically this FMC is so easy to use once you get the hang of it. Like seriously, when you fill out a few of these, like the CRJ is pretty much similar in many aspects, just the basic pattern in setting this up, the basic flow, it's all there, eh? Like, it's pretty self-explanatory once you get the hang of it. Daunting when you first come across this. But yeah, we enter our departure airport. And this is our GPS position, so we copy and paste that into that, and that sets our list. Do I need to... Some planes you need to turn them on manually, but I'm not too sure if this one's all... Yeah, I think this is all basically all automatic, so that's good. I'm sure there's... Nope, can't see any. That must be all good. I'll turn this off actually. I might need to set that again so that TCAS is off permanent. Anyway, we'll carry on with this. So I've done that. We've got a route. Great thing about SimBrief and this is you can just go request SimBrief, set payloads, set fuel, set route. Route takes a little longer for it to come alive. Wait for that to, while we're waiting for that, we'll just see what our cruising altitude is initially, which is 34,000 feet. Push this button to go to thousands, because you'll be there all day, and scroll up. And you hear that chime, that tells me that this is loaded in, so you just click load. We'll go to our SimBrief buddy, our FS HUD buddy, and see if it's working or not. And then you can now push activate. That's activated the whole flight plan, which is perfect. And then we go to perf init first. We'll just click in this magic box here and your weights will come alive. And then you click accept. Unfortunately, we can't change that until we accept this, so just accept it. Flight level is 34 to start off with. And then we go to, this is just what I do, go to legs, load your wind data, execute, then you go to VNAV, go to the previous page, go to forecast, and then we just load that, the descent forecast into here. And we're going to change that to runway 7 center. Then we go click back into init page, we go to our thrust page. What we will do is we'll set our departure first. So we're going to take off runway 7 center, fly out around the back of the Hong Kong there, and then wrap around like that. So we'll select our departure first. So it's, if you don't select your runway departure, you can't really get your VNAV stuff. So runway 7 center, SOSLIT, execute, and then we can come here and sort out our takeoff calculations. So performance, select runways, the runway that you're taking off from. In this case it's 7 center. Import our data from our aircraft. We're going to do a packs off takeoff. Packs off takeoff, yeah, it's a bit of a tongue twister. What we will do is we'll do a flight from Dubai, where it's always hot all year round, and we'll do one of these, yeah, packs off. Keep AC, we'll just off. I think it basically means putting it into auto off is the same thing really. But we'll do one of these APU to packs takeoff someday. Import weather, calculate your performance, and then you just fill this data in. So you go back to init page, you go to thrust limit, and I always, for some reason I used to add in the temperature first, but whenever I added in the temperature first, when I selected whatever takeoff setting it required me to use, it would always clear again. So I just do this first now. So you just select T2, takeoff 2, and our flex temperature is 45. Done. And I just add in the wind in here, 90/7. Go back to this page, flaps 5, and hopefully that will relatively give me the correct data which matches up. And that's done. And obviously this is in, I'm going to change this to kg, so I'll just do that soon. I'll show you how to do that. But select my trim, which we can't do until we power up the aircraft, but that's done. And we'll go back to menu and we'll change this display to kgs. Hopefully that hasn't, yeah, that looks about right. So we're going to set our takeoff speed, which is 68. Already set our departure, our cruise altitude, our first cruise. Not too sure why. That is annoying. That is really annoying that that does that, because I'm sure I've muted it. Anyway, we're going to select our runway heading. our runway heading is. I know it's 70, but is it exactly 70? That's what we're going to find out. Oh, 74. And that's our departure that we're going to do. Fly out here. The 777 will probably, you don't have to manually select that speed, it'll just stick it at 210 for this whole, for that bit there, then it'll speed up to the 250. We're just going to pretend, I think these altitudes will be set automatically, but we'll override those. We'll just pretend that we've got clearance to climb straight to our cruising altitude. Push the magic B button and we're going to change this into hectopascals, and we can basically, don't forget to do your checklist because this will come up as an error. So done that, we can now set our parking brake, push it again just to get it cleared, done the flight deck. We can basically close up our doors now and start our departure. So we will release all of the ground crew, release the jetway. Oh. Oh, that's interesting. It's not. Oh, anyway, we're just gonna Oh, it is annoying some aspects of this game though, like the traffic is departing from runway 7 and the wind is coming from that direction too, but for some reason looks like that plane's going to be departing from that runway, which is... oh no, we might be good. That's good. Right, well, we will now turn off this because we don't need that anymore. We can now disengage the ground power unit. First we'll arm all the doors. Remove the chocks and remove the ground power unit, which did that automatically. Now we can come and turn on all of these switches. Seatbelt signs can come on. These can go into auto. Push these two buttons in. Turn on the fuel pumps. And now we can finish off this checklist. Well, that's done, that's done. We haven't done that yet. We'll do that when we push out. We can now turn on the TCAS. Request the pushback tug. Turn off our handbrake. Strobe lights our beacon light can come on, and I think that's everything done. We can now turn on our engine, start pushback and turn on our engines. We don't know where this guy's going, but hopefully he comes into one of these parking bays. Hopefully. Perfect. Right, while we're doing that quickly, we can turn on our engine. Engine 1, turn on. I think that will do with where we are. I'm quite happy with that. That's engine 1 done. We can now turn on engine 2. Can turn on this, turn on that as well, even though that's on auto. Engage the fuel. We can just do that straight away. It's not like the other jets where we had to like wait for them to spool up. And then we can go to this flight control page and we can enter our trim, which is 4.5. Done. And we can just basically do our check our flight controls are all working. And then we can deploy our flaps to 5 for takeoff. Done. Anti-ice, recall. Select that. Oh. Sweet, we are basically ready for departure now. Right, let's go, guys. Turn on our taxi lights and our runway lights. Not that we need them, but we'll turn them on anyway. And we can now start our taxi out. Get clearance through this, but I'm having issues with this. It doesn't seem to be working how it should work. Disengage the parking brake. And we are set to go. We can now turn on the APU, turn off the APU, like so, and we can select terrain, position, data, air points. We can just turn on our TCAS now just to get rid of that warning light. And away we go. Yeah, it's a really lovely aircraft, this. I love getting this out. I used to fly this a lot when it first came out, this PMG 777, and did all sorts of different routes. Well, yeah, it was such a joy to... I really enjoy flying this. Haven't flown it for a little while now, but that's the sign that the cabin crew are ready for takeoff. That little beep. And we can start our taxi out to the runway 07 center. Going the long way, all the way around here. It's definitely an airport I like to do in real life, is land at Hong Kong. I can imagine it'd be like a plane spotter's dream here. But yeah, for some reason this FS HUD, man, it must need an update or something, but it's like, I like to use it for the taxiway navigation, but apart from that, it's just the last few weeks, it's just been not that great, I don't think. And especially now that I've tried muting it and none of these settings work, it's a bit of a... yeah, it's frustrating, that. Anyway, at least we can use it for finding us the correct taxi path to our runway. But yeah, for some reason it won't allow me to select the departure that I want to, which is a bit annoying. Yeah, there must be like a it must be a setting or something that I can change, but yeah. Anyway, we can now turn on our, should have done it when we were at the airport, turn on our flight directors. We can turn on our LNAV and VNAV. Oh, it's through this for some reason. I thought FS HUD just overrid the whole thing. That's where that was coming from. Oh, we fixed it. That's good. But yeah, flying... doing this in real life, it'd be cool to fly out of Hong Kong. It's definitely a destination I'd love to come to. Can't wait for the 747-400 to come out as well. That would be a really cool aircraft to fly, and I do need to get a the 77 freighter. One day I'll get that. And also that plane over there, I'd love to fly the new Airbus A350. That looks like a lot of fun. And also quite relevant too, being that a lot of airliners such as Thai Airways are now slowly replacing these 777s with those aircraft. Makes flying more relevant if you like to go to Flight Radar and just get some inspiration on flights you like to do for that day. I mean, it's great that there's still lots of 777-300s flying around, but I could only imagine as time goes on, there are days like the Airbus A340, their days will be fast becoming numbered, but at this point in time, it's still a very relevant aircraft. It's still found throughout the world in the various different fleets, especially while the 787, especially according to like what I've read on Microsoft Flight Simulator 24, it's not quite this level, and I don't think they've ported the 7879-9 or the -8 yet, but because those are the ones I fly a lot, is the 7879 at my peak when I was flying a lot of 787 flights, because Air New Zealand flies them a lot. Well, Air New Zealand has 14 in their fleet. And like I was saying with the Airbus A350, it seems to be the common aircraft now. But just certain features like this, I have a look at my flight plan, but I don't think we're doing many step flights. But this is great because you can just set all your step flights up and it just does it all automatically for you while you can go and enjoy life. But yeah, the 787 you have to do it all manually, which is like the real life. But yeah, it's just simple things like that just makes flight simming quite enjoyable, knowing that you can just set everything up, and it's when you are wanting just to do a long haul flight but without sitting around all day watching it, you can just set it up and know that it will get to those altitudes without any input from you. Right, we pretty much, I can minimize this soon. I just need to take one more left-hand turn after this one, and then we will come up to our runway holding point. Since it's just a one-man crew and this is just a simulation, we can now turn off the packs just to get it all ready for our departure. And then once we enter the runway, we can turn on our landing lights. I've got to turn off the logo lights because I've got it linked up with my landing lights, so when I turn on my landing lights it will turn itself on again. Not that we need the logo lights anyway. And just remember with these aircraft, you want to go below 10 knots before you make your turns, especially these tight turns. You don't want to drag, because we're in Terra simulated on this. How much it's actually simulated I don't know, but you definitely want to save those tyres and not drag it across. That'll be the TCAS, I reckon. Yep. And then that's pretty much, I mean, turned a bit too early there, but what we can do is we can just take this down, scroll it down 1 notch, and it just takes away that alarm sound just for now. Actually, we will still need this for... We still need that for our takeoff thing to get clearance from air traffic control, but yeah, I might close that down. I've slowing my computer down a bit too, so I might shut that down and just have it for our taxi in, taxi out. Any time now would do perfectly, thank you. And once we've done this, I'll close that completely down. It's right, we're getting close to our departure. Be a nice takeoff over the city of Hong Kong. Right, I'm just going to turn this to a random frequency. Oh, not paying attention. I blame ATC for that one. And now we can turn on our, we'll just get ready for takeoff, we can turn on our TCAS back on again to the full mode. We can strobe lights, landing lights, logo lights came on, which is perfect. And we're pretty much ready for takeoff. We'll just line up straight away because ATC is basically non-existent. Ready for departure. And then I'm going to turn you off. Goodbye. And like the 787, from what a few really good tutorials have taught me, you don't need to, with the 787 and the 777, you don't need to come to a complete stop, and we'll just spool it up to around about 40%, I think it was. And then we can just click this magic button here to arm our auto throttles, and away we go. start our rotate. Gear up. Flaps can now come up now. I need to brighten this up a bit, but we're just basically following those crossbars there. So I'm just doing this manually at the moment just to see how well I can fly this without using autopilot. And then I'm just going to turn on autopilot now, just get that sorted. Can now turn on our packs while we're here. Can turn off our taxi and our runway exit lights, don't need those, and we can just go back to the legs page, we don't need that anymore. Actually, we'll go to the VNAV page, it gives us our cruise altitude. And yeah, like I said, it's just holding us at 210 knots. It is a really stunning, I love flying around Asia, there's lots of really cool airports like this dotted all around this part of the world. I definitely need to do more, especially like flying around Japan, Korea, like some beautiful airports around this part of the world. They really do know how to build a really good airport, these places. And that's the infamous Kotak airport there, with the approach that winds your way through the buildings, through the skyscrapers. That would have been a really cool generation to be a part of that. That's something that we'll never see again, I could imagine. Should do that one day. We should do, I don't know if there's any like Navigraph sort of, you know, but we should do that flight one day. And I think we can raise our flaps now. Yep, we're above the flap speed, so we can raise that. And then this checklist can be completed. Done. And we can just put this to, maybe we'll put it at the air page, just so we know how happy the passengers are. And we can also raise turn off the runway lights. Logo lights come off automatically too. Let the passengers out to enjoy their food. And we'll just set our QNH right now. I just have it all nice and set. And as far as we've got everything set up, that's pretty much, we'll set the weather radar. And that is pretty much our departure sorted, really. We are all basically all set really for our cruise. I mean, still doing our climb, but we're pretty much cruising now. And I'll try and set this for a nice view for our time lapse. Now we can just speed this up, and I will leave that with you guys to enjoy the view, which I'll speed up in when I edit this video. So just sit back and relax, ladies and gentlemen, and enjoy your flight. Alright guys, I'm back in the cockpit, flying over Vietnam, are we? We're flying over Laos, I'm not too sure. I think we're flying over Thailand now. It's been a nice flight, hasn't it? Nothing major significance happened. Looks like the weather in Bangkok is looking quite reasonable at the moment, so we're gonna do... I was gonna do an RLS approach, but we'll change this to a RNAV approach. We'll do a little RNAV approach to show you guys how to do this RNAV approach instead of doing the ILS if you want to mix things up. We'll use this one here because it's we'll use this transition here. Change to that. And we will set this plane up for our RNAV approach. So we will come into your departure arrivals and we are going to select RNAV 1 because I'll explain later, but we'll choose RNAV 1 and we're going to try do SD transition this altitude here and execute. So that's our RNAV approach setup. So we will just basically on Navigraphs it's runway 01 now. It used to be runway 01 left and runway 01 right, but Bangkok has just recently opened up a new runway, and what used to be runway 1 left is now 2 right, so that's why if you're ever doing this, I don't have the latest Bangkok airport update that's got the new runway, so that's why when I come into this I'll just do this quickly. Yeah, that's why when I try to set up the flight, it was when I set up the arrival, it only has one on here. It's on here it's just runway 1, but technically it's runway 1 right if you're just using the old airport download, because I don't have the download for this new runway here. So anyway, we better start dialing in our descent. We're coming up to our top of approach, top of descent. So we'll just set it to our final approach fix, which is 2500. Push this to get it to the so you can scroll up in the hundreds, and we'll reduce a bit of spoiler just to get our descent profile back on track, and we will start our descent into Bangkok Airport. It's been a really lovely flight. We don't need our weather radar anymore, so we can go back to the terrain setting, and we will go back into legs. Always keep it on the legs page, especially if you're flying VATSIM. They'll probably tell you to see this. We're doing this whole approach like that. They'll probably get you to do shortcuts and whatnot. So yeah, just make sure you got it on this legs page, so if you need to change anything, it's right there to change it. So what we'll do is we'll set up our our decision height, which is our decision height is free as 540, so we'll use Sparrow and we'll select 540. Which is about there. Perfect. And we will, what else do we need to do? We'll just put out some bit of spoilers just to increase the descent rate, just to get it back onto profile. Guess we're flying over a spill jungle here, or nice rainforest that would be full of various animals. There might be still tigers in the depths of this rainforest here, but I believe that the Thai population of tigers is looking really bad at the moment. I think it's almost borderline extinct. I think there's population pockets around here, but unfortunately tigers are pretty much almost all gone from Thailand, unfortunately. But if there was some to be found in the forest, this could potentially be a habitat for tigers. But definitely there'd be lots of like monkeys and various different bird species in these rainforests here. Absolutely love Thailand. I definitely want to go back there, and then been there a couple of times. Food's always amazing there. Yeah, we're coming into descent into Bangkok. We're pretty much at the point where we can, see this tablet thing's only got like one left, one right. We're landing on one right, but that runway would now be just one, and the other two left and two right. Import our details. All of our reverses are working fine. Import weather, calculate. Yeah, that looks good. Where does that leave us in relation to? Yeah, we sort of want to have an extended rollout so we can take one of these taxiways here. I've disabled FS HUDs, so I'll just taxi in and maybe find a parking space around here. And yeah, we will carry on. We'll put that into our init reference page. We're going to be, we'll change that to flaps 25. Basically copy and paste into there. And maybe we will go flaps, or just see what flaps 3 does. Yeah, I mean not flaps 3, but auto brake 3. So we'll use auto brake 3. We'll get that armed and ready. So this is basically us all relatively all set up really for our arrival. We can now turn on the turn on the passenger seatbelt signs, turn on all of these. Basically all ready to slowly coming up to 10,000 feet, so just getting everything ready. Push the magic B button to get our... Oh, actually no, we have to push the STD button. Set our altimeters. and we will just carry on with our descent. Flying over basically all of that is basically various like rice paddy fields. There'll be a lot of production of your chilies or your famous Thai vegetables, and potentially some of these water ponds, they'll be where they grow prawns, your famous Thai prawns, which are delicious. And as you can see, there are lots of like irrigation, rivers and all the rest of it that's feeding all of this very productive farmland. It's a very agricultural based country, Thailand. That's the Thai, the brand new, well, brand new as in it's been operational. It makes you feel old when you think about it. It's been operational since 2006 almost. 20 years to think when I first arrived into Bangkok when I was 19 years old, that was a brand new airport. Now it's basically 20 years old now, that airport, but still a really lovely airport. I really liked Bangkok airport. It shows you what you can do with the minimalist design, but it's still quite grand as well. So we'll sort of track out a bit, and then we'll go into manual heading and speed, and then we'll start our approach. Actually, if you push this button here, if it says nav speed, then you just keep it pushed into VNAV path. When you get closer into the flight plan, when you push that, it should just stay in VNAV path. But we'll adjust this heading so it matches our current heading trajectory. And then what you do is you set your altitude when you're doing these RNAV approaches. You set your altitude to the barrow, which is in this case 540. So if we set it to 500, it'll sit at 540. Perfect. So that means that's activated. Now we can go into push heading mode, and we select manual speed mode, so we're still in VNAV path, which is what we wanted. And we can start our turn for our final approach. All of this is done sort of manually. Like you'd probably get radar, you'd probably get ATC telling you what speeds to do, whatnot. What we can do is we can go to our legs page and we can just put this up to the top like that, and then go back into our nav. And that will set us up for the arrival. Can lower some flaps. And what was our initial... Once we're below our final approach fix, 300 feet below, we can dial this up to our go around altitude, which is 4,000 feet. So yeah, this is how you do RNAV VNAV approach. You don't activate any like approach buttons like you would on other aircraft. You just basically keep this in RNAV VNAV, but with managed speed mode, and then you just dial it down to your minimums. This is with the 777, but the 737's got a very similar concept as well. We'll arm our speed brakes. And then we'll set our final approach speed. Just 155 knots. Bit of a wind there, which was affecting a few different things, but a bit turbulently, isn't it? So we've got our flaps set. We can actually dial up our go around altitude now to 4,000 feet, and that should just keep on our descent like that. And that, my friend, is how you do an RNAV approach with the 777. And then I'm guessing around about here in real life pilots would take control of the aircraft. I do remember that the pilot flying would turn off the flight directors because they don't need it for this sort of approach. And then I guess we can... I mean, we're quite visual, aren't we? We can just basically disarm autopilot. Then we can disarm the auto throttle. And then we just do the rest ourselves.
Approaching minimums. Minimums.
I forgot to do my checklist too, which was annoying, but you get that on the big jobs. Completely forgot about that.
100. 50. 30. 20. 10.
And touchdown, we'll just taxi on out, not this, oh we can actually, we'll do this one, eh? I'll turn off our speed brake, and we can just take this rapid speed taxiway here. And that is us into Thailand, into Bangkok airport. We can now turn on the turn off the landing lights, turn off the strobe lights, keep the logo light on, turn off these lights, turn on the APU so that's up and running. And then we'll, it looks like this area is quite full, so we'll come around into the other side there. And that's us into Bangkok airport. I'm not going to pronounce the name because I cannot pronounce that name. I'm sure it's very simple, but I can't remember what it is. And we'll just start our taxi to the gates. I definitely need to get that Airbus A350 at some stage. What I might do is I might try and see if I can do these checklists quickly. Just try and cheat this checklist so it's complete. Actually, I'll just wait for it to the flaps to be deployed and then we'll aim for that free car park there, that free airline park. We can now turn off our taxi lights. And that's it really. Oh, we can turn this into, we can turn the TCAS off to just transponder. I think that's close enough, and we can now turn off our engines. APU is generating power, which is good. Turn off these engines, turn off the transponder. We can now turn off these hydraulics. Release the passengers. We can turn off the beacon light, of course. Turn these anti-ice off, turn that off. Turn off our pumps. And then we can disarm the doors. And that's our flight basically over and done with. Thank you so much for being a part of this flight, and I hope you enjoyed. We can turn off the emergency. Yeah, thanks so much for being part of this flight. We might do a little explore of the airport to see what else is out there. What other aircraft there are at the airfield here. All of these Asian airports, I do like how there's so many traffic you don't see at other airports around the world. It would be the time then that it freezes. Just all your generic aircraft here including a few like now exotic aircraft like Aeroflot, which is, as we know, I do need to look at getting the airport for this, the Peiwe airport, but this is a new terminal here. But you've got your different like airlines that you don't see elsewhere in the world. Got a narrow body Cathay Pacific, that's a rarity. Yeah, this is Bangkok Airport. I'm sure it'll be much more alive than this, but yeah, the terminal is such a very basic terminal, but it's a nice functioning terminal, I reckon. Really lovely airport. But yeah, we'll go back to the plane and we'll just end it there, and thank you for being a part of this flight. We'll see you again next time.